You're not ungrateful. You're awake. This is the Dignity Room, a place that's always yours. Come in.
So maybe you earn good money. You can book the appointment without thinking twice. So, like the nails, the hair, the occasional treatment that costs more than you would admit out loud, there aren't luxuries you save up for. There are just things you do. So, here's the question I want to ask you today, and I want you to actually answer it honestly just to yourself. If you sat down, let's say maybe tonight or so, and added up everything you have that is genuinely only yours, not in the joint account, not tied to the household, not in a pension you would have to negotiate access to, not depending on anything, staying exactly as it currently is, how much would that actually be? And for a lot of women, that number is much smaller than their income suggests. Sometimes uncomfortably small. Sometimes, if they are being really honest, almost nothing. And yeah, the thing is, this didn't happen because of a bad decision. So nobody took anything from you. Nobody was dishonest. It just quietly became the case. Your money became the household's money, and the household's money is not the same as yours. So today, I want to show you exactly how that happens, not to blame you, okay? Just so you can finally see it more clearly. So in the last episode, we talked about the floor, the financial floor, why real choice needs real financial ground under it. And today I want to look at how that ground disappeared for so many women, even successful ones, even well-paid ones. Because here's the thing that trips people up. They hear financial dependence and they picture someone who earns nothing, has nothing, is completely reliant on a partner for everything. And that's one version. But there's another version that's far more common and far less visible. A woman who earns a real income, who contributes significantly to the household, who can afford things, and who still, practically speaking, has no money that is actually unambiguously, Jesus, this word, I learning some words to get better. And this word, oh my goodness. Okay. Ambiguously, I think I say it right now, hers. That's the version where we're looking at today. And the reason it's so hard to see is that every single step that led there was completely reasonable at the time. Because it's never one moment. It's usually 4 steps, each of them sensible on its own. So step 1 is the merge. So at some point, probably early in the relationship when things were good and the future felt solid, it made sense to combine finances. So like one account is simpler. You are building a life together, so you trust each other. So both salaries go into one place and all the bills come out of one place. And the boundary between your money and the shared money disappeared quietly in the name of love and practicality. Then step 2, it's the career gap. At some point, your career and the relationships needs came into a friction. Maybe you moved for his job. So maybe children arrived and this assumption never quite decided, just somehow understood, was that your work would flex. Maybe you went part-time for a few years, or maybe you stepped back from something promising because it wasn't the right moment. So every one of those choices made sense at the time, but each one left a mark on your earning history, your pension contributions, your professional trajectory. Over 10 or 15 years, those marks add up to a real gap, not just in income now, in everything that compounds over time. Then there is step 3, the financial architecture. While all of this was happening, a financial structure built up around the shared life, a mortgage in both names, but his income was the main qualifier. Investments in his name that grew significantly during years you were earning less. A pension that's his primarily because he was the one contributing more during those years. A financial advisor, if you have one, who mostly talks to him. None of this was malicious. It's just how things settled. But the result is a financial architecture that you are technically part of and that you can't access alone. And step number 4, the disappearing surplus. And any money that did stay in your name, it went into the life, the grocery run, the school trip, the birthday present, the thing that needed paying for right now and nobody stopped to think about which account it came from. So surplus absorbed before it could become anything. So 4 steps, each one reasonable, each one made in a good faith. And at the end of them, you earn well, you contribute enormously, you can afford your nails and your hair and the treatment and everything. And you have almost nothing that is accessibly only yours. No villain in this story, no bad decisions, just a set of very well-worn tracks that a lot of women walks down and that lead quietly to the same place. So now here's the thought that's probably forming right now. But we are comfortable, we have savings, we have property, we are not in financial trouble. And that's true. And it's not nothing. A shared comfortable life is real, but here's the specific problem that shared wealth doesn't solve. Joint assets require 2 people to agree to access them. The savings account you would both need to agree to draw down from. The house you both need to agree to sell, or one of you to be bought out of. You know what I mean? So the pension fund that's in his name, regardless of the years you supported the household while it grew. So, we are comfortable describes your life as a unit. It says nothing about what you, as an individual person, can access alone, quietly if you needed to. And I want to be careful here because I don't want to make this only about worst case scenarios. I know some of you are listening and thinking, but my relationship is fine. I'm not going anywhere. This doesn't apply to me. Okay, here's why it still does. Without the ability to act independently, you are not actually choosing the life you are in. You are occupying it because there's no real alternative. And there's a huge difference between I would choose this even if I could choose otherwise. And this is simply what I've got. The question isn't, do we have money? The question is, do I have money? That's a smaller number, a more uncomfortable number, and in a lot of cases, an alarming number when you look at it honestly, which is exactly why most women don't look at it honestly, and exactly why today I want to ask you to do it. So, okay, I really ask you to do this, and it's not dramatic, okay? It's not a plan, and it's not it's one step before any plan is possible. So make the map. Yeah, sit down. Not tonight, if nothing isn't the so it's not the right moment, maybe. So you don't have to do it tonight, but let's say this week, and write down what actually exists in your name alone versus what exists jointly. So versus what exists primarily in someone else's name. So your own account, if you have one, and its balance, and savings that are only yours, your pension, what it holds, and whether there are gaps from years you worked less, your income, and how much of it actually stays somewhere that's yours versus being absorbed immediately. That's it. 4 columns, 1 honest hour. Write every numbers down. So you're not trying to fix anything yet, okay? You're not building the plan now. You're just getting a clear picture of the actual terrain, because you can't build a floor on ground you can see. So you have to see it first, and you only can see it when you write it down, when you have the numbers in front of your eyes. Here's what most women discover when they do this. One of two things. Either it's less bad than the fear suggested, and that's relieving, or it's more significant than they would realize. And that's uncomfortable but important, because that discomfort is the first honest signal that something needs to change. Either way, you end up with something more useful than dread. You end up with a map, and a map, however, is the only thing that makes direction possible. You built this life in good faith. Every step that brought you here made sense at the time. What changes now isn't the past, it's the direction from here, and the direction can only be set from where you actually are. So look honestly this week. That's my whole ask for you, okay? So I think it's not that worse, or isn't it? 3 things to take with you today. 1, the money stopped being yours through the 4 completely reasonable steps: the merge, the career gap, the financial architecture, and the disappearing surplus. No villain, no bad decisions, just well-worn tracks that lead quietly to a place where you earn well and own very little that's actually yours. 2, we have money is not the same as I have money. Joint wealth requires joint agreement to access. The question isn't whether the household is comfortable. It's what you can reach alone today if you needed to. That's a smaller, more uncomfortable number, and it's worth to knowing. And 3, before you can build, you need to see. Make the map. 4 columns, yours alone, joint, primarily his, what you earn and where it goes. 1 honest hour, not to scare yourself, to know where you actually stand. A map, however uncomfortable, is the only thing that makes decision possible.
If today resonated, here's the most honest place to go next. Something I recorded just for you. No fluff, just the first real step back to yourself. It's waiting in the show notes. Take care of yourself. This was the Dignity Room.